The city had become too loud for Lena. Every horn, every glowing screen, every rushed conversation left her hollow. She used to find beauty through her camera lens, but lately, everything she captured felt lifeless, as if she'd lost the color inside herself.
So, she left.
She packed her camera, a few clothes, and boarded a bus that wound its way into the green belly of Borneo. Her destination, a forest reserve she'd only read about in travel magazines, a place said to be untouched by time. When she arrived, she met Audie, a local ranger with weathered skin and eyes like still water. He greeted her with quiet kindness. "Here," he said, pointing to the dense line of trees, "the forest breathes differently. You'll feel it." That night, under a canopy of stars, Lena felt the world grow softer. The air smelled of wet soil and orchids. She thought of nothing, for the first time in months. But the next morning, as she walked through ferns shimmering with dew, she noticed something strange: tiny human footprints pressed into the mud. Too small for an adult, too clear to be an animal. They led deeper into the forest. And for reasons she couldn't explain, Lena followed. The path was quiet except for the rhythm of her breath and the hum of insects. The footprints wound between giant roots, as if guiding her somewhere. Occasionally, she thought she heard laughter, faint and distant, like the echo of a child playing. She stopped and called out, "Hello." Silence. Then, a soft rustle behind her. Only the ferns swaying gently. Audie caught up soon after, his face pale. "You shouldn't go off alone," he warned. "There are old spirits here." Lena smiled weakly. "Spirits don't leave footprints." Audie didn't answer. He simply looked at the ground and muttered a prayer in the local tongue. As they continued, the forest seemed to shift. The air grew cooler, and beams of light pierced through the thick canopy, forming shapes like hands reaching down. Lena felt watched, not in a threatening way, but like the forest itself was curious. That evening, as they set up camp near a stream, Audie finally spoke. "The elders tell stories of a child spirit who walks among the ferns," he said. "They say she protects the forest and appears only to those who've forgotten how to listen." Lena smiled at the thought, though a chill crept up her spine. Later, as she drifted to sleep, she dreamed of tiny feet running ahead of her through mist and a voice whispering, "Find me." The next morning, the footprints returned, fresh, winding through the ferns and leading toward a hidden valley. Audie hesitated, but Lena insisted on following. "If there's someone out here, maybe they need help," she reasoned. The trail led to a narrow stream glimmering with morning light. Dragonflies darted above the water, like shards of glass. On the opposite bank stood a small wooden carving, a child holding a flower. "It's a protector symbol," Audie murmured. "Offerings are placed here." Lena knelt beside it, brushing off moss. There were tiny petals scattered around it, orchids still fresh. Then she saw movement in the reflection, a small shape darting between the trees. She turned nothing. "Did you see that?" she whispered. Audie nodded slowly. "She's here." They waited, but the forest held its breath. Only the steady sound of flowing water remained. Lena raised her camera, but for the first time, she couldn't bring herself to press the shutter. Some things, she thought, weren't meant to be captured, only felt. When they left, the footprints had disappeared. Only the ferns, swaying softly in the wind, seemed to move in farewell. That afternoon, the weather changed. Clouds rolled in, and thunder growled across the hills. They took shelter beneath a cliff, as rain poured like silver threads through the trees. Lena's thoughts raced about the footprints, the carvings, the feeling of being watched. She wasn't afraid anymore, just deeply curious. Then lightning struck somewhere near the ridge. For a moment, the forest flashed white, and in that instant, Lena saw her. A little girl, barefoot, standing among the ferns, smiling softly. Her skin glowed faintly, as if lit from within. The rain didn't touch her. Lena blinked, and she was gone. When the storm finally passed, Audie placed his hand on her shoulder. "Now you've seen her," he said quietly. "She appears to those who carry sorrow. The forest must have chosen you." That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She thought of the girl's smile. Innocent, yet ancient. For the first time, Lena felt the forest not as a place, but as something alive. Something that remembered her. The morning after the storm was bright and new. Mist curled between the trees like breath, and sunlight painted the ferns in gold. Lena walked alone to the stream one last time. The footprints were there again, but this time they led in a circle, ending where they began. She knelt, placed her camera on the ground, and closed her eyes. The forest was silent, peaceful, waiting. Then she whispered, "Thank you." A soft breeze stirred the leaves. Somewhere, a faint laugh echoed, light and distant. When she opened her eyes, the footprints were gone. Only her own remained, side by side with a faint outline in the mud, as if someone small had stood beside her, just for a moment. Back at the edge of the forest, Audie smiled. "Did you find what you were looking for?" he asked. Lena looked back at the endless green, the ferns swaying gently. "I think I found what I'd forgotten," she said. And as they walked away, the forest behind them shimmered, alive, awake, and still watching.